What happens when a breach of contract goes to court? Imagine signing a deal with someone and then they don't follow through. What happens next? When a breach of contract case reaches the court, it kicks off with the person who feels wronged filing a lawsuit. They are called the plaintiff. The other person, accused of breaking the agreement, is the defendant. The court then looks at whether the contract was real and valid, if a breach actually happened, and if the plaintiff did what they were supposed to do under the contract. First, the court checks if a valid contract existed. This means confirming there was an offer acceptance, something of value exchanged, both parties had the capacity to agree, and the deal was legal. After that, the court sees if one side failed to do what they promised without a good reason. If they did, that counts as a breach. The court also considers what kind of breach it was. A material breach is a serious failure that affects the main purpose of the contract. It might allow the non-breaching party to end the contract and seek damages. A minor breach is less serious, where the main goal is still met, but damages can be awarded. An anticipatory breach happens when one side says they won't perform before the performance is due. An actual breach is when someone doesn't do what they promised at the right time. To prove the breach, the plaintiff needs to show the contract's terms, evidence they did their part, and proof of the breach itself. This could include emails, invoices, or records. Written contracts are easier to prove than oral ones. Before going to trial, courts often suggest trying to settle the dispute outside of court through negotiation, mediation, or arbitration. These methods are usually faster and less expensive. If the case goes to trial, both sides present their evidence and arguments. A judge or jury then decides if a breach happened and what the remedies should be. If the court finds a breach, it can order damages, which are money to compensate the non-breaching party for their losses. The court might also allow the injured party to end the contract if the breach is serious enough. Sometimes, the court orders specific performance, meaning the breaching party must do what they promised, especially if money can't make up for the failure. Dealing with a breach in court can be costly and take time. That's why many businesses try to resolve issues early with legal advice. The court also looks at any clauses in the contract about how to settle disputes and which court has authority. In the end, when a breach of contract goes to court, the legal system carefully examines whether the contract was valid, what kind of breach occurred, and how it affected the other party. The goal is to enforce the agreement or compensate the injured side within the rules of business law.